Hey everybody, yeah, there we go. Hey everybody, welcome to the pre-show. This is episode 208 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast. We are in the pre-show, and we will be with you shortly in the main show. Is how that works. So if you want to skip ahead, feel free to go ahead to the opening while we hang out here a little bit. Hey, the HOV man is here. How you doing tonight? Oh, I gotta update the Twitterverse here. The tweets and the Facebooks. Done and done. Tweets are done. The Facebooks are done. We can turn those off. I'm going to turn off the YouTube actually. And we're just going to share it on the other channels as well. How's everybody doing tonight? There's a few people. Poto Cedar is here. How are you doing? Our intern with the mostest. Oh, goodness. Pretty good. I assume we are, we have a large contingent of Southeasterners, so, thoughts and prayers. Hope everybody's safe. Probably can't listen if you don't have power. This is 7 bait. Yes. Sure is. Sure is. It's 7 bait. That's it, man. Gonna crack this puppy. That was Soraya. Indo bait. Yeah, we want Indo to come. Well, let me put some music on. Yeah, that messes with the ping.
It looks good so far, so yeah, maybe it was a temporary problem, honestly. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. It's so weird that
maybe it was just your internet was off the last 2 times we did this.
Well, that could be too.
Yeah. Because you do have like spiky internet from time to time, I guess.
Yeah. No, it's Xfinity, so of course it is.
Wait, really? That's your company? I had no idea.
Comcast, yeah. That's No Billy? No Billie Eilish? Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about FFRK, our RIP. Tree Void, thank you for the subscription. This music is so weird. Storm, glad Storm didn't take out my internet. Fuck those people's houses. At least my internet's good. Stupid people in their boats. No, seriously though. Scary stuff always. Hurricane season. We all got something, don't we? Is there any part in the? I mean, I guess in the world, but you know, is there anywhere in the United States or in the world like that doesn't have something like, you know, hurricanes? You might live in hurricane area, tropical storms, earthquakes, you know, wildfires out where Mino is. We got tornadoes in my part of the world. To be fair, hurricanes like tornadoes and floods and storms all at once. Hurricanes are pretty awful. Tsunamis. Yeah, Malaysia's pretty chill. Yeah. Thanks, Excalibur. I can't even. This music is ridiculous. Elon's bunker. Yeah. Elon Musk's space bunker. Doesn't he live in like a tiny home? Like on the back lot of SpaceX. Isn't that what Elon's doing? Oh, how are we all doing? Indo is here. Uh-oh, we did call him. We summoned Indo with 7 hype in armpits. Good evening. Leafblade Mouse is here. Yin's here. Excalibur's here. Zaboni Driver's here. Tree Void's here. I almost forgot Tree Void. Black Cloud Strife, also known as Black Nero on YouTube. JD Terraforce is here. Made it to the stream. Martyr's here. Poto's here. Soraya's here. HOV Man's here. Just the 8 of you. Oh, we do have a hype train. Thank you, Tree Void, for the subscription. Thank you for 14 months. Summon Biscuits, thank you for the subscription with 25 months. That's 2 years, if you can do your math. That is 2 years. Yeah, my ping is still good, so I don't know. I don't know. Can we have another song that's not whatever that was? Can we? This song just goes on for hours. Yeah. Not impressed. These updates to my chiptune. Respect the wig. Respect the wig. Core BT. Sign is here. No, we're all gonna be we're all hashtag wrecked by Rec. Reek. Rex. Rex is the character's name, right? Rex. Is that how you say it? Rex. Vaughn's brother, Rex. Well, I thought was dead for a long time, but it's just like in a coma or something. Which is bad, too. I mean, to be fair. He's a vegetable. That's bad. Yeah, he got wrecked. Wreck-It Ralph. No, that's Wreck-It Ralph. You're thinking Leaf Blade Mouse. Gonna talk about how OP Brother Summon is. Yeah, we'll talk a little bit about level 50 Brothers and the stupid amount of HP damage it does. Certainly fun in Force Time. Come out of Force Time, come out of a BT phase with one turn of Force Time left and pop Brother Summon. Woohoo! Free damage, man. I think that's unique as I was looking around, right? Among the Spiritus summons, the level 50 summons. You can't beat Mog's Gym. No, Leaf Blade Mouse, we will cover Mog's Gym in great length. JD Terraforce, thank you for the subscription. 14 months. We got a couple 14-monthers. JD Terraforce and Tree Void subscribed for the first time 14 months ago. Thank you. Actually, I don't think that's how that works. I think it's a running total running tally. 900% bonus. Level 50 Brothers does about 19 million damage. Is that I didn't. I know Cell and some others have been working on that. That's not a That's not a bug, right? That's just how it is, right?
No, that's a bug.
Oh, is it a bug? Okay.
Yeah.
So what's the bug? It's just the damage is too much.
We only have guesses. We don't really know.
We don't really any idea.
But the leading theory is that it doesn't dump the brave it generates.
Oh.
So it does 2 HP hits.
Right.
And the second one adds on to whatever the first one had.
Okay. Yeah, we'll talk about that. Will the show talk about which Tifa skin they like most? Obviously. Obviously, we got 3 to choose from. I don't think it's a contest. Maybe it is. I don't know. We all got different preferences. I like them all. Give you a little spoiler. Yeah, here's some decent music. Provoke. Yeah, this sounds like good classic video game music. Cam Force. Oh, people are still using Camlinot? Gross. That was so 2 months ago. I don't use any character older than a month. Oh, I forgot to update my spreadsheet, though. For my Tifa expenditures. Another tokened BT for me. I don't know how I'm going to survive. Oh, crap. Wrong one. I did get 3 FRs on the way to 300 G tokens, though, so that was nice. Cam and Tiffing the stage. Oh, man. Spiritus, you brought Cam and Tifa? Yeah, that's pretty gross, huh? With Cam's, man, I don't know Tifa's FR is... Tifa's FR is pretty nice. So, just by itself, it's... Man, yeah, it's nice. Doesn't seem to have an issue proccing that. big fat damage. So obviously, I know Camelot can still be used. Tidus is just a ranged Tifa. Yeah, pretty much. They all kind of, I mean, Terra doesn't really have the follow-ups. Tifa doesn't have like a string of consecutive turns, although she can take free turns, instant turns. But with her follow-ups, yes, she does have a little bit more in common with Tidus. Hers are all single. Oh. Right, yeah, hers are all single target. His are not. Ooh. Yeah, no, that's how you play Camelot for the next year. You just continue to get different damage dealers. Cam Tidus, Cam Tifa, fill in the blank. Yeah, that was one of 17 teams Excalibur did, so. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, she is very focused. She does what she does very well. What the kids say. All right, hey, you ready to start the show, Mino?
Sure. Yep.
All right, let me turn off the chillin' music. We don't do the show with music. And let's get ready. Whew. Take deep breaths. Do your Keikle exercises, everybody, and get ready for the show. Episode 208. In 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome, everyone, to episode 208 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, recorded on September 29th, 2022. I'm your host, Mark, and I'm so glad to see all of you live with us, all of you watching us on YouTube or Twitch video on demand, or listening to us on your favorite podcast app. And I'm not by myself. I'm joined by my good friend and yours. It's Mino Spellgood. Mino, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Mark. Little tummy trouble. What is this? What do you call it when it's like an acid buildup?
Acid reflux?
Okay, yeah, that. I think I have that. What do I eat when I have that?
You can eat just the core of a cabbage is a natural Pepsid.
Yeah. Anything else?
If you have an upset stomach, ginger ale, saltine crackers.
Really?
You can be on the brat diet. I believe it's brat. Bread. Rice. No, bananas. No, yeah, bananas, rice, applesauce, brat. Bananas, rice, applesauce, toast. I got the bread confused with the tea, which is toast. Banana, rice, applesauce, toast, brat diet. If you have a stomach bug, flu-like symptoms, that is what the GI doctors, gastrointestinal doctors, GI for short, that's what they suggest, the brat diet, some of them. But yeah, but if you have, yes, if you're just having like reflux, if you have like an upset stomach, diarrhea, Pepto-Bismol kind of stuff, But yeah, if you're having acid reflux, then you need to cut off the acidy foods, the citruses, the tomatoes, the coffee, a couple less cups of coffee, some alcohol, wine can create acid.
Oh, is it coffee that maybe did this to me?
Oh, lots of coffee. Yeah, coffee definitely can create acid. Yeah. Yeah, just take a Pepsid or something, Some Pepsid. That's good. Don't be doing like the Tums or the Rolaids. No, go get the over the counter Pepsid. That purple stuff that Larry the Cable Guy was selling. I don't know. That stuff's supposed to be good. Yeah. 17 cans of soda, that'll do it. Yeah. Yeah. Lose 10 pounds. That helps too.
Wait, damn it! I
Yeah.
was just watching a show that had a whole episode on that. Tuca and Birdie. I don't know. There's no way you were watching the same show, but is that universal of a joke where doctors just recommend losing 10 pounds because it can't hurt?
Yeah, no, I mean, it can't. But yeah, being fat does cause acid buildup usually, so yeah.
Oh, that's also probably part of it then.
Sucks. Hey, well, shout out to our sponsor, Pepto-Bismol, for upset stomach, diarrhea, constipation, indigestion. Pepto-Bismol. It's pink. Tastes like butt. But
I just noticed we don't have a.
We don't. No, we are free from our contract. We actually were at the end of August. Our contract was June, July, and August with our previous sponsor. So tonight's episode is from you, the viewers.
Like, we get fired?
No, I haven't heard from them one way or the other. But our contract was 3 months: June, July, August. I haven't also gotten paid, so we'll kind of see where that goes. But shout outs to viewers like you who support the Crystal Chronicles. It's like the PBS. This show is possible because of viewers like you, because of viewers like Trevoid on YouTube, Summon Biscuits, and JD Terraforce. Because of viewers like them, the Crystal Chronicles is on the air, free to watch and listen to on your favorite device anytime. Because of viewers like you. This episode is sponsored by you, the viewers. I appreciate chat. I appreciate chat. I appreciate all of you. We'll talk about sub campaigns for polls. There's nothing to pull on tonight, but maybe going into it, I think it looks like we'll come back to the question of the week. But yeah, there's some down the road polls. We might need to figure out a sub campaign for something else here. But for tonight, we just thank you all for your support. Now, since the last time we met last week, we did have the Squex community mobile stream, which is always on Monday, and Squex Joshua and Squex Crystal came to us with all of the upcoming events. So we always appreciate them taking the time to do that, to let us know what's happening over the next month, including the Tifa cycle and the Renoa cycle, including, I think they pretty much tell you all of that, except for kind of one secret FR coming at the end of the month with the GL exclusive Crevasse coming back. That was the big thing. Really two big things. We got the announcement of Crevasse coming back, obviously the schedule of events, and then the update to Mog's Gym. So Mino, what were you hoping going into this month, and how does Crevasse fit into your malaise or excitement about the coming month of DeFo?
Okay, we actually had a community question about this, but we can do this now.
Yeah.
We can do this now. Basically, there's been some discussion among our community veterans over, is Crevasse the best GL exclusive content we've had so far? Like, is this a win over Abyss or Dare to Defy or Equinox, etc.?
Mm-hmm.
Like, how do you feel about Crevasse? Do you think this is the best possible announcement we could have gotten?
I think it's hard to say because we had Equinox, Crevasse, Abyss. We didn't have Abyss in Lufania, but in the Lufania era, we had the Equinox and the Crevasse.
We did
GL.
have Lufania
Did we
Abysses.
have Lufania Abysses? So we had those kind of GL exclusive events in Lufania, but we've not had them really in the Lufania Plus era, in the current era. And so isn't that what what are we in? What era is this? The FR.
Shinryu?
No, yeah, Shinryu, that's the word I was looking for.
Spiritus?
The FR era. Or yeah, so we've not really had the Shinryu experience with all of these different things. So I think it is kind of hard to compare, as I was really thinking about, I liked Crevasse. We talked a lot about Crevasse, about how great we thought it was. I think I was just trying to listen back and think back. I think we actually liked Equinox more. I think I liked Equinox a little bit better than Crevasse and Abyss. I don't know for certain. I remember, I think the reason why, let me put it this way. The reason I liked Equinox and the reason I like Dare to Defy is you could do Crevasse and not get all the points, right? So it was kind of this thing where you didn't have to do the most difficult content. And so it did give you some freedom, and everybody could get all the rewards, and then the most intense players could try to go for the best score, but it really didn't get you anything. And so I liked that in that sense, that it was a little bit more accessible to everybody. But in some other ways, it's not particularly special, I guess, if you're like, oh, well, I can do this extra, but I don't really have to, as opposed to, oh, you have to do this. You have to follow all the conditions to do the content. Equinox was like that. Dare to Defy was like that. Here's the thing. You got to do it or not do it. So you don't have to complete Dare to Defy, but if you want to complete Dare to Defy, you have to follow the rules. Whereas Crevasse was like, well, make your own rules and you don't have to do the hardest. It's a little bit everybody. So for me, I kind of actually like being more pigeonholed into this hard content, saying, here's what you have to do it, as opposed to the Crevasse. But maybe we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I'm looking forward to it. It's new events, and unexpected events. So I appreciate that, but I think at the end of the day, I'll probably like Equinox and Dare to Defy more. And I think I still would like more Dare to Defy over Equinox, Abyss, and Crevasse. What do you think, Mino?
Just a reminder. Last time we saw Equinox in the anniversary, it was not as well received because I actually remember this quote from you, because you could bring a Garnet friend.
Oh,
and
yeah.
she could solo all of them.
Yeah,
and
right.
I remember you specifically said Square Enix disable all friends for all the modes.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I remember you saying
Yeah,
that.
yeah. I forgot you can use friends on Equinox, right? Yeah, there you
and
go.
then so there was some distaste for the event because it felt like friends just invalidated all of the challenge here.
Right.
And it's the same here as we're seeing in even in Shinryu. If you have the right friend slot, you can really blow past all of it. So I'm just a reminder that if Equinox stays the way it stays,
Right.
it's not that hard of a content. And the only thing I think Crevasse is interesting. The complaint was that you had to have very specific characters to get a perfect score last time.
Right. But you didn't need to get a perfect score.
Exactly. Right. Like some of the veterans chasing the perfect score, like Blart, were saying, "Oh, that's very restrictive, and it's more of a roster checklist." But right, you don't need to get the perfect score, so I don't think that counts. And plus, the difficulty, it was a beta at the time, so who knows what it'll be like when it comes back now. But I will say that I honestly would have taken another month of Dare to Defy over this.
Yeah.
And because what they've announced is that the Crevasse, and if we ever get an Equinox again, it's probably going to be half Lufania difficulty, which is bullshit.
Garbage,
because the gap between Lufania to Shinryu at this point is massive. Yeah, like you don't
I
even have
was
to
I was
dive deep.
noticing even as I was doing the Spiritus event. I mean, even our level 80 characters. I mean, if you've been playing a while, all of your characters are strong. And we're getting to the point where most of our characters are level 90. We only have a handful of level 90s left, characters that aren't level 90. And I mean, we've got several, probably 7 or 8 ultimate weapons now. No, I'm kidding. But I mean, we, our kind of our floor power level is much higher than it was. And obviously the ceiling is very high for some of these characters, but the floor is pretty good. And so, yeah, you can auto Lufania. I mean, you can technically auto
Yeah,
Shinryu, but
it's like I would be more excited if this was gonna be like several Shinryu
yeah,
fights. It's sounding like the implication was about 3 or 4 out of 7 if we're
right.
getting something like that. And it's just like, well, that feels like half an event. I'd rather have, I think why I like D2D2 so much is because that was 7 Shinryu fights.
Yeah.
Right? Like
Yeah.
Shinryu lockouts. It was a lot more difficult, and I all I really want is difficult content. And it sounds like people
Well,
are
and
more
what what D2D did for us was, instead of the kind of the kind of average way to play where you get a couple really good characters for a month and you use those characters throughout the month. Even how the BT cycle, now this will change in about a year, assuming the game's still a game. But in JP, it's different now. But we have these burst cycles. So you can always pull for the burst character and use that character for 3 fights. And so, you can get away by kind of focusing on a couple characters. And D2D said, "Hey, no, you can only use that character on one of these fights." And so it kind of forced you to look at every fight individually and bring your best characters and really have a good time at it. So no, I agree. I mean, we'll see. I mean, I'm glad we got something. Last month we didn't get anything, so I'm glad we got
Yeah,
something.
of course. Extra is
Um,
always good, but
yeah, but
I was yeah, I was just saying like I do miss D2D.
yeah,
I'm still cheering for that to come back, and just having this reminded me of like, oh, you know what? I actually really did like Dare to Defy for that reason. That was a great point of changing the way you play. Whereas like here, the lockouts don't feel that meaningful if there's only going to be 3 to 4 Shinryu, because it's very easy to throw together 3 or 4 OP teams. So like it does not feel meaningful to lock out at all. Sinewave says we discussed this in the Void Hour. First of all, I love that Void Hour stuck. That was my insult to whatever TV calls his actually calls his show. But we discussed this in the Void Hour, where having to do the perfect score was so tight that caused you to do the same team as anybody else, which
right.
doesn't feel
Yep.
good. When achieving the perfect was at the risk of being uncreative.
Yep.
When being perfect isn't fun, that's kind of a problem, in
Yeah.
my opinion. My pushback to this is I feel like being quote unquote perfect is always unfun. For example, if you want to do a 0-turn team, most people are going to run the exact same
Same
thing.
team.
Or
Yep.
or if you want to chase the highest score in any given fight, let's not even talk about Crevasse score. Let's say like you want the highest literal score in Spiritus, you're probably going to be running the same team as well. So like I think there's always only going to be a one perfect team if you're shooting for perfect. So I don't really think that that holds water, because you could be like, oh well, I want to solo all the transcendences. You're probably going to see a lot of the same characters and a lot of the same
No.
fights. So
No, but I
I'm
think I get what Sign is saying in terms of, to maximize your score, you're running the same, like your piggy hole, your pigeonholed, not piggy hole, you're pigeonholed into a team. Like that's the team. You got the team that has the three, the three yellows, the 3 swords. Like you're gonna have to use the team that is gonna meet those conditions. Or you're not going to get the max points. So those will be the exact same themes. But yeah, I don't even remember. Do you use friend units in Crevasse?
You do not.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I didn't think so. I didn't think Abyss.
You don't use friend units in any good content. They
No,
block him
right.
out in Spiritus. They block him out in Transcendence. They block him out in Dare to Defy. Like all the good content blocks out Friend.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it when it gets here. Piggy hold. Hashtag piggy hold. What are friend units? Hello, folks on YouTube. Destroth, Kurt. You're not alone. We do see you on YouTube. There's more chatting happening on Twitch, but you are seen. You are seen.
Yeah,
Yes. Hashtag piggy
it's your
hold.
responsibility, Mark. Bringing up the YouTube discussions because I can only have one window open at a time.
There's not discussions right now. Just hellos, salutations, such things. So. Excalibur, I hope the Crevasse bosses are different than the Shinryu stages at that time. Yeah, I hope they're unique unique things.
What they said on the slide, so we all know in the Lufania crevasses we got, you could change the orb conditions, if you remember.
Yeah.
And so for the Shinryu ones, they said the only thing you're changing are the force weaknesses, which feels not great. Because the force times will be the same, the fight will be the same all the time. The only thing you're picking is which FR cancels the whole fucking fight.
Oh,
which
wow.
feels real fucking stupid to me, in my opinion.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see how that flies, because that can be really that could be really snooze fest.
Yeah, because most of our players doing Shinryu don't even aim for the force weakness to invalidate the fight. They'll just run like big numbers or build a team around it.
Yeah.
It really feels not meaningful that the only thing you're choosing is how do I invalidate the fight. And if anything, like the other fights, when you're choosing Lufania orbs, it could be more challenging because usually there's like things that worked against it. But just the force weakness, just make the force character I have better at the fight. I don't know. That's fucking stupid.
Black Cloud Strife says, does Mino not know how to use split screen? Mino's calling in from a landline and uses his notepad to take notes. So yeah, that's how that works. Little behind the scenes on the show. Little behind the scenes. We also, like GL first events are always fun. I guess not exclusive anymore because I believe JP's getting some similar events. But we do have another GL exclusive event, and that is Mog's Gym has been updated. So as of yesterday, Mog's Gym now has some level 70, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 missions. And if you're new to the game, you actually unlock some armors and weapons. I think you unlock Yuna's weapon, which is great actually for brand new players. It doesn't matter right now, but I mean it is kind of nice. Alizé, Arciela. Alizé is kind of awful, but you unlock Yuna, Arciela, Alizé, Lulu. It's kind of a hit and miss.
Wow, these are some
bunch.
Awful characters.
No, but
Alizé and Lulu.
Yeah, no, Alizé and Lulu is kind of awful, but Lulu's an enchanter and periler, which might come in handy early in the game. Yuna with her Asuna, Esna is real helpful early in the game. Alizé, or not Alizé, Arciela with the silence. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5 Cosmos. Pretty, I mean, you got to kind of follow the little briefs. If you're not familiar with Mog's Gym, it teaches you how to play the game and makes you do various different things. And you can get little badges, little coins, regular platinum coins and gold coins. There's some good stuff in the shop, so make sure you do it. Mostly what I got was about 700 feathers, 700 chocobo feathers, since I never want to ever have to level up characters again. Now I have 700 chocobo feathers. If I look at my history here, what did I get? Because I did it all. It takes, 15 minutes maybe to do it. I got 360 chocobo feathers. And then another 370 chocobo feathers. But you can get 10,000 wild points for every summon, which is pretty nice. 15 power stones. You can get 250 or 275 of the mighty red shards, which Josh didn't remember what they were called. You can get 10 EX power tokens. You can get 8,000 enhancement points, which isn't a lot. But 8,000 enhance, I didn't even need them, but I got them just to make myself feel good, I guess. Other things, if you're low on regular EX books and EX armor, armor tokens, power tokens, you can always get power tokens and then get them for power stones later if you're in a power stone shortage. If you still need bloom items, you can get the EX power orbs or the regular higher power orbs or regular crystals. So yeah, if you're new, it's extra stuff. If you're a veteran, you get to do it again and get extra stuff. Did you do it, Mino? And what did you claim with your Mog's Gym?
I have no idea what to get with the tokens. It all seems pretty useless to me.
Pretty much.
Excalibur is saying the EX tokens are good for newcomers, but I wonder if that's true. Maybe.
Yeah.
But like the EXs don't feel like nearly the the best weapons anymore at this point. Like you could probably get a character's FR or BT and then run I don't know, maybe just the fill-in kits. I have no idea what to get, so they're just sitting there for now. I skimmed through the tutorial, so I'm not sure how much new they added. I'm not sure
almost nothing. No,
no. Yeah. Some of that stuff was new, right?
So I think they do teach you about Lufania orbs, but I don't think there was anything about why do I have a thing here? I don't think there was anything about Shinryu. I think there was something about, recast abilities, advanced weakness, turn order, buffs, debuffs, Esna, they taught you about. I think some of them had, one of them had Lufania Orb, but I'm not really sure. They teach you how to remove Lunafreya from your party. That's nice. Launches. Yeah, it's really how to play the game 4.5 years ago.
I thought, I didn't read it carefully, but I thought the whole point was to update this for the C90 era. Like, no, is that not what they accomplished?
I did not feel. I mean, you can check like the last one here. The intermediate, maybe there will be an advanced someday. The intermediate is recast abilities. So the last one before the final chaos battle is teaching you that enemies have recast abilities, and those recast abilities are tough, so you should mitigate them. That's what it's teaching you. And the one before that was learning how to imperil an enemy and use elemental weakness against them. And the one before that was learning to buff and debuff your enemy, and the one before that was breaking them in order. And that's the intermediate. That's the second. Those are the more advanced ones. That's what they taught you. So no, you didn't learn about Lufania orbs, and you didn't learn about force time, and you didn't learn about C90 or EX. You learned how to summon. And you learned how to use brave and HP attacks, and you learned how to launch. And they did tell you that, the break status lasts for 5 turns, so that's helpful.
Zamboni Driver makes a good point. Maybe they were talking about the rewards, because you do get like C90 crystals and
No, the rewards were updated, and that's appreciated. But it does not necessarily teach you how to play the game. And there's some stupid glitch that makes a red little 1 appear on events, even though I've completed all the events. Every once in a while, I'll log out and it will go back to not being there. That kind of pisses me off.
There's been some fun bug hunts. I encountered some myself, and I saw some on Reddit. I don't know if other people have been actively collecting this, but I know for the advanced break one, if you're running a character with a brave attack that doesn't actually do brave damage, it kind of locks you. The game freezes up. And I was running snow, and I saw other people do this too. For some reason, when you're running snow and it transitions waves on that fight, the game also gets stuck. Maybe because of his preemptive. I have no idea. And there's another one in the launch tutorial where supposedly they can't be damaged unless it's by launch damage.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you have a follow-up that doesn't count as part of the total HP damage, a separate attack. So the examples were like Vivi and Porum, they negate that and kill the enemies anyway.
Yeah.
So lots of fun bug hunting this stuff for all the people that believe like the Defo devs never do any bugs. And like Cam and Spiritus brothers are, the
There are
way they
bugs.
are on purpose. Yeah.
We go through them on a regular basis.
There's nothing wrong with Kadaj's recast gauge, like
Yeah.
that was intentional.
Yeah, no, we bring them up on a regular basis, and those are the official ones that they say, yeah, this isn't working right. Yeah, they are mistakes.
Uzumaki brings this up. I don't know if that's true. The 1 is meant for your Spiritus window. Once you pick up all the chests and clear everything, should go away. It's in notices. Interesting. Is that really how? Why is it in events then?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I have not claimed all my Spiritus chests. I did unfortunately claim one. We'll go back to that later. But hey, this is I don't understand this. So last month, correct me if I'm wrong. Last month we had I am wrong. So last month Luna Freya had a costume. No other new costumes, correct? Technically I guess it would have been Core. Core would have gotten a costume. So I'm a little off base here. So we would have had 2 new costumes last month. We ended up getting 1 new costume since we already had Core. The month before we had Charlotta. Tara got a new costume. Okay, so we've been about 2 costumes. Kane got a new costume. Does Titus have a 3rd costume? No. So maybe that was. Did Cryo get a new costume the first month of FR? Either way, I was thinking, last month we only did get 1 costume, but we've had about 2 costumes a month, which is pretty good. This month we have 3 new costumes, which seems like a lot, but I guess it's not really. And we did have other months, especially with Tifa and Aerith, where we got both of their costumes at the same time. So Tifa and Aerith both get their dresses, and Renoa gets her magic girl pixie costume. And we also have at least 1 upcoming, maybe 2, weapon glosses. We have a lot of weapon glosses coming back this month. 1 new weapon gloss. None of them are... Currently, it's only the Tifa... I'm trying to get to the slides here. Currently, it's only the Tifa costume that's live. You can get that Tifa costume. But then we're going to have the weird Valentine cherub thing, weapon gloss, the cac gun, and then 2... Oh, no, it's going to be 2... There's going to be a new... The one Halloween one is new. So, yeah, so we got 3 new costumes and 2 new weapon glosses this month. Last month we had 1 new costume and no weapon glosses. So, interesting. It seems like weird spacing to me, I guess, is the only thing I need to say about it. Seems like weird spacing. Why don't you space out the costumes and weapon glosses a little bit better? But that being said, I'll probably buy all of them. So, Mino, any thoughts about...
Thank you for rationalizing my spending.
Yeah.
Even I was sitting here thinking 3 costumes in a month is a lot.
No.
But you know what?
Yes.
It all evens out in the end. Sure, no problem.
Yeah, it all even. That's right. I didn't buy any costumes last month, right? I didn't buy Luna Freya's costume. I didn't buy Core's costume. Did I only spend $40 on this game last month? Wow. It's no D2D. I don't think I spent that much on the month before either. Oh, but I'm getting my Moog Pass. Thoughts on her costume? I thought she had her costume already. Who? Oh, Cryles. Cryles was a real one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't have there's no icon in the World of Illusion. It's in the events. And it disappeared. It wasn't there but when I started the show. There you go. We also got our stream rewards, so make sure you log on and get your stream rewards. We already got them. Well, that does bring us to our first event and only event today, and that is Spiritus. Dun, dun, dun. World of Illusions, Spiritus, the Brothers. This is way more confusing than it needs to be, I think. And trying to explain it, like look at the slides, the Squex slides. It's a whole, that slide's a whole mess. That's a lot of stuff on one slide. Them trying to explain it. I don't know that there are great words to explain this content, in that besides the idea that you run the fight with characters that they want you to bring, and you can do it a lot or you can do it a few times. Obviously, this is related to a summon. You can raise brothers from level 40 to level 50. We'll come back to that. So if you need to do that, there are a couple nodes that you can do that. Then you have the Chaos fight. You fight the old Vain Horse with a reskin. It is called... oh, wow. It is called the... I didn't even look at this name of this thing. Is this German?
It's Brontosaurus.
Brontosaurus. Okay, thank you. It is from the Greek. Brontosaurus. The brother's spirit animal. It is the spiritual. That's a little racist, I think, right? Or no, that's not. It's not really racist, but it is. We shouldn't take on things that are not our cultural appropriation. That's the term I was looking for. Although, I mean, maybe in their culture that is okay. So I can't. Let me not make claims about the.
What the?
Let me not make claims about the Minotaur culture that I know nothing about. So maybe spirit animals are a big part of the Minotaur culture. So yeah, let me back off. Let me back off my privilege for a few seconds. And you can fight the Brontosaurus. And it's a horse. We fought a lot before. It has a brave floor, so it never goes below. Can't break it. And knock it back. Or no, you can knock it back, but can't break it. And it can take many turns and it kills you. And so there's a chaos fight. You can fight that over and over and over again. If you want to get points, you have this opportunity to do missions. Woohoo, missions! And you can see in the missions, depending on who you bring to this chaos fight, just like the divine summons, you get more points. If you bring characters who are synergy, you get more points. If you get characters that meet all these conditions, you get more points. If you want to only run one team, and because there's different conditions, and if you want to meet all the missions, and I think there's 9, there's 3 down, 3 across, right? It's a 3x3 grid. You need to bring Realm. You need to bring Kurasame and Tifa. I think that's the only combination of 3 where you would not have to bring more than one team. Depending on how you do it, if you bring 2 different teams with synergy to meet all the conditions, or one team, like I just said, that meets all the conditions at once, it takes 37.5 runs with the Mog Pass active. So if you don't have the Mog Pass, of course, I think it does take longer. So you're looking at that. So it's pretty much very similar to the grind that we did before, but you do need to make sure that you're aware of who you're bringing. Obviously, if you have the characters that are synergy, they are the ones that meet those requirements, but you can look around like I did here with Realm, and yeah, 37.5. That's the actual number. Obviously, you cannot do half a run, so it is 38. But the actual math is 37.5 runs. It's just impossible to do that. I'm doing it without use of potions. Great, that's fun. But in addition to that, so every time you beat one of those conditions, you get 30,000 points with, any one of those, red crystal, yellow crystal, white crystal, fist user, sword user, special user, Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 6, Final Fantasy Type 0. You clear one of the missions. But then you unlock a Spiritus. You unlock a Lufania. Then you got to beat the Lufania. That's a mission too. I think that's the odd mission. That evens out the number there. And then if you get to the Spiritus fight, the level question mark fight, you have different missions depending on how many turns you take to do it, how much you beat the boss. And if you get the S rank, which is the final rank, that unlocks a whole bunch of missions. That unlocks 5 missions right there. And then if you complete it, it unlocks some more missions. So at the end of the day, between the Spiritus missions, the very couple Lufania missions, and the Chaos Grind missions, there are 20 missions. You only need to do 10 of them to get the keys and the brothers, to level up brothers to level 50, and to get the keys, the 10 keys, to unlock your 40,000, 40,000 gems, 400 tickets, and 40 force shards. That being said, there are some limited time missions connected to the Spiritus missions and some other limited time missions too. So it's easiest if you just do everything, but you don't actually have to do everything. As you can see, I've unlocked everything. I have keys to unlock these. I haven't done that yet because why would I unlock tickets? But as you can see, I still have a couple missions left. I have not done the Spiritus quests where you only use red, yellow, or white allies, and then the weapon types, and then the typings. So those are the only 3. So I have 17 of 20 missions, but I've cleared all the content. I have no other missions going there. So there you go. Yeah. So again, there's a lot going on, but it's really probably not as complicated as you think. If you pulled for Tifa, you're going to get S tier without much of a problem. Even if not, you can do it. You don't have to do the grind, but you can. If you just, I did it all today. And I've done a lot of other things today. I had a 4-hour meeting. I've gone out and got, lunch for my wife and slept in and ran around, did stuff with the kids here all after school. So I only played for, probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, and cleared everything. So it wasn't much of a grind. I'll be honest. It wasn't much of a grind. Mino, I don't know. Just talk about this mess of this mess of content.
I feel like, no offense to my co-host here, but he also made it sound a little more complicated than it actually
100%.
is.
100%. No, you just do the content.
I think the best way to simplify it,
just do the content,
is basically something you forgot to mention is to level up the new summon.
Yeah.
You have to get the keys, right? And then to get the keys, you have your easy missions and your hard missions.
Yeah.
And the easy missions are the grindier version, which less experienced or newer accounts can do very easily, right? Like pick 3 that match categories. This is like abyss codes basically.
Yep.
By weapon type, color, or whatever, and that's just a grind, and you can get all the rewards if you just want to auto plus this all the way through. Alternatively, you can also do none of the grind and run the Spiritus mission, and those are
you would have to beat the chaos once.
Right.
And the Lufania, but you don't have to do the grind.
Right, and then running through the Spiritus is you could potentially knock out all of those in one go as well.
Yeah.
Most of those are by...
Yeah, well, there's one team that can do all of it, and it's not fun. So...
Actually, there are multiple teams. I'll reveal this. Apparently, people didn't know. First is that's mostly based around the ranking system, and the ranking system is mostly based around turn count. I really wonder. I want to see how the GL community takes this, because this is something I feel like they've been asking for a long time, which is basically, could we have a really hard fight that we get rewards based on how well we do instead of necessarily completing the fight? Because this is what this is. You can totally tap out at any point in the fight and get a big portion of the rewards. In fact, I think getting to A or S has very negligible rewards, and the top rank just gets you a shiny little aesthetic plate around your summon, which almost nobody will ever see. Maybe once in a blue moon in co-op. So this is a quote unquote super difficult fight that you can push yourself to get the S or not. I feel like this is a very good option. I really like Spiritus. And so the thing is, Mark, we learned recently that you don't have to complete all those conditions at once. You know how it says like red crystal, white crystal, yellow crystal? You
Yes.
could just do it doesn't mean one of each. It means
Any.
as long as it falls into that category.
It's any.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you could just do 3
Yep.
red crystals. So your options are actually much larger. Same with like,
Yeah.
the weapon types and the FF types. So you actually have a lot of flexibility in this, which is fun to play with.
Yeah. So what are your? So if we go to my game, which is I'm just not scrolled in here. So if we go to the player search here, and we go filter out. So we just do type 0. So it can be any type 0, any 6, any 7, and it can be any special, any sword, any fist, and it can be any white, any red, any yellow, correct?
Yeah.
So it has to fall within these conditions.
Yes. Let's see what kind of characters we get.
So,
but I believe that like the popular run that I've seen so far, I think Eamon did it first, was Ramza, Yang, and Kor, which is a very, very, very strong team for this.
oh yeah, no, you can do each of the missions at once, but yeah, but like if you want to, so Yin is saying you're doing too many missions at once. No, but yeah, that's what you want to do, right? You want to do them all at once. That's what we were talking about.
Right. The point we're trying to say is that you can go the grind route, or you can literally knock it out in one run.
Right. So if you want to do all of the missions in one run, you can, for Spiritus, you would have to use one of these 10 characters. Now you can do each mission individually with any of, any characters that fall into those either the crystal color, the weapon type, or the game type, which is a huge roster. You can do each mission individually. Huge roster.
Oh, Destroth, sorry. Destroth makes a good point. Tifa is actually mandatory if you want to do that.
Yes.
Because she's the only 7 character that falls within any of those categories.
Yeah.
Wait, no. You got Red Crystal, Barret, Unique, right?
Yeah, no. Kadaj, Barret. So the 10
Rude, they're saying. Rude
yeah. So it's Tifa, Realm, Gao, Kadaj, Shulk. There's a lot of 7s. Shulk, Queen, Kurasame, Rude, Deuce, and Barret. That would be if you're trying to like hammer it out in one run. Those are the 10. Obviously, you don't have to do that at all. So, I saw a Tifa Barret Rude run. Well, I tried it because I didn't realize, I thought it had to be one of each, which that's Tifa, Realm, Kurasame. And my Kurasame died the second turn because he does not have enough health to take 20,000 from HP damage, and so he died immediately. And so Realm and Tifa nearly duoed it by themselves. The only reason I kept playing is because I thought I could gem revive and get the clear, and do those three missions that I haven't done. Obviously, those 3 missions. But you can't gem revive, FYI. So, but I think it still probably could be done with Kurasame. But now that I know that there are other characters, that's much more exciting.
Yeah, it's a very fun way to engage with it. And again, you could just run it 3 times with the different teams. You really could have fun with it. I feel like this is good for content creators who want to do like themed runs. You could do like an all FF7, all FF Tactics, or Type 0, stuff like that. Upload them to your... But I actually really like the concept of the Spiritus mode. I like it a lot. Also, another lesser known fact is that even though you only have to do 10 of the 20 missions to get all the gems and tickets and keys, every extra mission is also 3 extra
tickets. Yep.
If you want.
Yeah. So right now I have 17, so I'm out 9 tickets. But it is important. Nidra and I were talking in one of our chats, and it is important to realize that there are there are limited time quests for the Spiritus run. So you do get some extra goodies if you do like Final Fantasy, or if you do a S tier run, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you get some extra goodies there. So there are a few limited time rewards, but this is permanent content besides limited time rewards.
Exactly. Permanent content you can always come back to. I feel like this is a perfect content that ticks a lot of boxes for a lot of people. I also Oh, wait, that's a topic you want to discuss later. I did not do this without Tifa yet. And I
No.
know she trivializes the entire event.
Yeah. 100%. But we haven't talked about any of the characters, or Spiritus brothers.
Okay, sure.
So
Let's go through that.
let's start with the characters, and then we'll talk about the summon itself. So the banner characters for this event were Tifa, 8, Leo, Bartz, Jack, and Selphie. Selphie and Selphie and Leo already had their C90s. 8, Jack, and Bartz got their C90s. Jack and Bartz, we'll start with them. Kind of not great. Bart's really showing his age. His damage output is so abysmal, and his BT effect is no longer, because it was one of the first and one of the better BT effects early on in the BT era. It's definitely showing its age, and most BT effects are doing better than it, and he does absolutely almost like no damage. So Bart's kind of sucks. Yeah, Bart's kind of sucks. Jack also not super exciting at this point in the game. What, no. 8, on the other hand, I think 8 has some pretty good potential. 8 is a dodge character and a counter character, follow-up character. So I think 8 has some interesting potential. I used him a little bit here over this last couple days to see how interesting he was with C90. Obviously, a lot of people are going to have that ultimate weapon fist, but he does his mechanics pretty good, and his durations lasted, so now he's not going to run out of stuff, and probably of the little group, quite a bit nicer. But any of those extra characters before we get to the new one that you want to talk about, Mino?
No.
All right. Well, the new stuff is all Tifa. Tifa gets a FR and a BT weapon. If you're not familiar with Tifa, she is a single target melee attacker. She has launch and delay built into her kit, mostly around her EX ability. And then does have some free turns, consecutive turns, so she can string together attack phases as well. Of course, she has that big LD damage dealing ability that she became very exciting and popular for. She now gets a BT weapon, which is another big fat attack, but that gives her a couple of follow-ups. So she gets the normal brave damage up, brave damage limit up, HP damage up, overflow, but she then will follow up, her BT attack is Final Heaven. She will follow up all of her attacks with Water Kick, single target, 3 HP attacks, and then Somersault, single target, 3 HP attacks, brave gains in between. So she now kind of does what Tidus does, which is follow up her attacks with other attacks, making her do a lot of damage. Very, very nice. Her FR ability, called Glitter Strike, gives a damage limit up and a big old attack, and the damage increases if you do a single target brave damage on your turn, 30%, and a crit brave damage on your turn, 30% up as well. So most characters that you're going to bring on your team with Tifa are ticking this up fully, especially if you're attacking broken targets or if you have some crit rate up abilities along with your team. Have found it very easy to get over 60%, pretty much regardless of who's playing with Tifa, which makes her FR is one of the easier to use. You don't have a lot of conditions. It seems like that, but in practice, a lot of characters do have single target brave hits built into their hits, even if they have splash or AoE attacks on some other buttons. And crit damage is pretty easy in terms of conditions. Obviously, if you're struggling with that somehow, there's other ways to get around that, attacking broken targets, having characters that actually give you crit rate up, or actually having calls that do that as well. That being said, in practice, it seems fairly easy to hit her HP conditions. Mino, so she's stupid. She does a lot of damage, millions and millions of damage. She's really, really easy to use. She's probably one of the easier damage dealers in the Terra Tidus era of damage dealing FRs. She's probably doing more damage and is easier to play, even though they're not hard to play. She's probably the easiest to play because you just pretty much hit a button and try not to be stupid and you'll be okay. She does have launch, which is something, but it's not the biggest part of her kit. Mino, she's awesome. So, Mino, what are your thoughts on Tifa and why is Rem her FR partner?
Oh, that's a super easy one. Rem is her FR partner because they are both the designated women who wait at home for the hero, right? Like that's literally the only characterization both of them have. Hey, Tifa simps, stay back. Don't argue with me on this. We have this discussion every time. Like, I remember the last time Tifa got the LD, and I was arguing with Asim about this one, where Asim says that Tifa is the definition of a strong woman. And I said, why is that? Because her only role is ever waiting at the bar for Cloud and worrying about Cloud, or waiting at the base worrying about Cloud, or when Cloud is hospitalized, she's just sitting at the bedside, and at Advent Children, Cloud ditches her at the orphanage with all the kids, and she's just sitting there worrying about him. And Asim says that she can punch monsters with her fists, and that makes her a strong woman. So, this is a conversation we have quite a lot. But no, yeah, these are like Rosa tier female heroines in my opinion.
No, I think you're right.
But anyways, Tifa's in this stupid spot that I guess this was a conversation before, but it's a huge conversation now. Tifa versus Renoa, because they're back to back. They're both the 7 and 8 heroines, and they both do massive amounts of damage. I don't know. I know a lot of people are saying choose one or the other because a lot of people are very short on FR and BT plus resources at this point. The honeymoon phase of Shinryu is over. Tifa is physical and very, very, very single target oriented, whereas Renoa is magic and very AoE oriented. And I think it's going to come down to preference. Maybe my personal preference would be go for Renoa, but there's no denying that Tifa is just insanely strong. I also think the FR condition's fun, right? Like the whole single target brave seems, like you said, it seems very open, but you still have to consider that when throwing teammates on there. So I always like that. That's always like, oh, there's some thought put into who you partner her with. Guaranteed crits, launches. You said it all. Very simple character. You can't really press a wrong button, honestly. And the follow-up damage on her BT effect is insane.
Yeah, it's really stupid. Yeah, it's really. Yeah, you definitely want to be running the BT when you're in first time, because it's pretty ridiculous. Yeah, it's really ridiculous. If you want to learn more about Tifa, you can go to TonberryTroupe.com. Well, let's go to podcast polls, and let's look and see what you all, make sure I got the right banners here, what you all wanted to do when it came to Tifa. And just looking at these podcast polls, a thank you to J.A, Quetzalma, Materiabot for doing the podcast polls. On the first banner, the Bart's banner, which you shouldn't have been pulling on, unless you need Selfie. The Selfie's awesome. Selfie's stupid broken, but we knew that already, right? That's not new news. Selfie's broken. She got broken on her last go around here. Only one person pitying Bart's BT. That person's wrong. 2 people pitying the FR on this one. 1 person pitying the LD. Hopefully Selfies. 13 people using tickets and 100 people skipping. Now, on the other poll, across 8 servers, 64 people pitying the BT on this banner.
I did the same thing. No. I did the same thing.
What?
Because the other 2 FRs in this cycle are pretty fucking dookie.
Yeah, they're garbage. Lude and Ferris. Yeah, Lude and Ferris. Yes. I need Ferris. I got to pull on that banner. Anyway, 63 people pitying the BT. I did not do that. 34 people pitying the FR. I did that. I got my 300 G tokens, got out of there. No people just going for the LD, because why would you? 32 people using tickets like cowards, and 16 people skipping. So yeah, most everybody's pulling on this one. So people may not be able to pull on Renoa. I haven't heard. No, so you've said you've had that conversation, or you've seen that conversation. I know the Tifa hype is real, but you're saying that that there is some conversation about save for Renoa, because I've not seen or heard that.
It's all over the community now, and as Excalibur said, and this is why I think like the whole Tifa pity isn't as crazy as, because well, first of all, the community hates the pull, so they're always safe for the better thing, and the thing is that like I said, I lean towards Renoa is the better character and right around the corner. Excalibur wants to put up some facts. I wasn't going to touch this until we talk about Renoa, but Excalibur saying Shinryu, like the hardest content is usually 2 bosses over single target, right? Yeah. Like AoE is always going to win out more damage than single target. Renoa FR can get up to 80 a turn as opposed to Tifa's 60, and Renoa herself can charge her, has a FR gauge charger, force time charger. Yep. So Renoa is by virtue stronger, but Tifa is already so strong. I don't know, man. The argument is just they're both viable, and if you like Tifa, because a lot of people do like Tifa, you should just play Tifa. But I feel like this is detracting from a lot of people's enjoyment of the character. Not that I like Tifa, but there's a lot of fans out there.
There is a lot of Tifa fans out there, that's for sure. And we're going to have Tifa, Aerith, and Renoa. I'm obviously a Renoa fan, so I'm going to fully invest in her as well, and her stupid costume, and those little things that will fly behind her with her stupid costume. So.
Excalibur saying, I'm getting both.
Yeah.
You should just get both. They're so different.
Obviously.
Excalibur, some of us don't have unlimited resources. If you don't know, I am literally sitting on 1 high power stone as we speak. There's no way I'm going to have enough by the time Renoa rolls around. We all can't, remember last episode I said I had 17 max FRs. Now I have 18.
Yeah.
I just don't have the resources. I don't have the resources. Excalibur, some of us have to pick and choose. We don't have unlimited resources. Buy all the costume, then you have the gems to pull.
Yeah, Sabin is telling you just to pull dupes. Pull dupes.
Everyone, you've got over 1 million gems. Guys, I'm down to under 600k gems, okay? I'm a poor now. I haven't skipped any banners since January. I'm poor as shit. So,
yeah.
No, I am no longer a millionaire. Please stop lumping me with those degenerates.
Correct. I only got 51,000. Just from completing this content, so very nice. Yeah, high Power Stone bundles. Good stuff. So, Ultimate Brothers. Let's talk about that for a second before we get to I don't know what the hell I just did. Before we get to where are my damn summons? Before we get to the actual fight. The Spiritus fight, we're not going to cover the Chaos fight. Wow. Yes, level 50 brothers. It's level 50. The blessing doesn't change, unfortunately. It'd be great if it did. But the big thing is right now, and Mino, you can talk about this, it's doing a lot of damage. Now, it says, if you look at level 50, 6 hit, 120,000 earth melee group, and then a group HP attack delivered 2 times. Delays all enemies 1 turn. It did that with the last time. Grants enchant party HP damage can go 10% beyond limit. In practice, this summon is doing out of force time over 1 million damage, in force time up to 20 million damage. So what is going on with Spiritus Brothers? Because it seems to be a little broken right now.
Yeah, so our fellow JP players have scoped this out, and it's the exact same description across all the Spiritus summons, right? They'll say the exact same thing, as exact same amount of damage and dumps, etc., etc. But for some reason, Brothers just works differently. The theory is it's brave retention, unintentionally, right? Like, the other summons will hit the same amount twice. It's just whatever their brave damage is. Whereas Brothers, the second hit adds on to the first. And in JP to this day, it's still the only Spiritus summon that works like this, and it has not been fixed. So I don't know if it's like a deal breaker or anything. It's just a funny gimmick. I don't think like it's a meta summon or like you'll pick summons because of that, because usually you're gonna pick it for the effect over the summon damage. But it's a fun little interaction if you guys want to have at it.
Yin, I am not full of misinfo. You did not hear me correctly. That's how that works. I said the blessing effect did not change. It is still 30% up max brave. That is what I was talking about. No, Yin's saying the blessing did change to be unconditional. Were you having issues meeting that condition? Was that a problem? No. It is, yes, just raises max brave by 30%, as opposed to being dependent on your current HP. But it is still 30%. It's not 40 or 50%, which is what I was referring to. Pay attention, Yin. Come on. Pay attention. So there is a fight. Woohoo! And it is the Mahermachakis, the Brontocercus spiritual animal, vein thing. There you go. Yin stocks. Yeah, no, Eamon, yeah, the damage can't. I mean, you hit that at the end of a force time, it's a lot of damage. It's a lot of damage. Yeah. Yeah, the Jerkin, Swedish. Yeah, very Swedish animal. Swedish spirit. Yeah, the Swedish horses. Big fan. My ancestry. Let's talk about this fight. Level ? Absorbs thunder, weak to earth, immune to debuffs that prevent action. Oh, it's big thing is it has brave floor, can't go below 20% of the brave generally unless you're debuffing it with some embrave stuff. It's around 20,000 brave. Immune to any debuffs that prevent action, will KO you if you hit turns 100. That's fun. So if you hit turn 100, you're dead. There you go. And then it has this big paralyze attack, God Thunder Plus. Dispels 1 buff on random targets. Guaranteed hit. Inflicts 3 turns paralyze. Resets aura stacks to 10 stacks. The force weakness is player uses a single target melee FR attack. Enters force time. Cancels their force time. The force time effects of the boss are party player Embrave down 100% at 40. 60% of its health, that's down Embrave 200%. 80% it's down 300%. So the higher it gets in its force gauge, the lower your Embrave is. And then at 100%, it triggers its attack, Red Thunder Burst ++, cleanses all of its debuffs from itself, which can be horrifying, especially if you're doing max brave down, AoE thunder damage, and it gets 3 turns of force time, becomes immune to delay. Yeah. There are also conditionals. Woohoo! Quite a few, handful of conditionals here. Threshold attacks and threshold triggers. 59%, it gets well done. Your reward restores 1 skill count of players' skill 1 and skill 2. Very exciting. 49% triggers calmly concentrating. This is the aura stack mechanic. So if it has 5 to 10 stacks, there's no effect. It has 1 to 4 stacks. I forget what it does there. And if it is 0 stacks, that's when it gets up to its God Thunder Plus. No effect as well with 1 to 4 stacks. But if it's yellow, it's got the 5 to 10 stacks. And then if it gets red, it's going below 5 stacks to 0 stacks, where it is triggers. Yeah, there you go. 29%. Triggers Fiercely Excited. The red aura or red dark streaks call abilities are locked out. Exciting. Brings the boss to 9% HP in 30 turns or game over. They have a couple of weird mechanics. If you hit turn 100, you die. If you get to 29% and take more than 30 turns, you also die. So there's some weird mechanics in this thing. Then you get down to 9%, triggers preparing to unleash a powerful strike. Call abilities are no longer locked. Gains 20 million HP shield. Deplete this to instant win. Once you deplete the shield, it dies. So even though it's going to be at 9%, once you deplete the shield, it just triggers. Boss will instantly KO you on the boss's next turn. So once it gets down to 9%. So there's 3 big things that will just kill you instantly, besides its big attack. So yeah, so a lot of different things to try to kill you in this fight. Don't take more than 100 turns. Once you get down to 29%, don't take more than 30 turns. Once you get down to 9%, it's got a big shield. Don't let it attack. And make sure that you manage the crit, the stack effect when it's at 49%. Crit hits gives it more stacks. And so you just keep doing crit damage to it to keep the stacks up. There you go. Yeah, it is immune to break because it has the brave floor, so you need to do crit damage, which is why Tifa is very, very helpful in this situation. If you don't have anything that helps you do the crit damage, it will also kill you. Yin had to break Zaz call out. Yeah. Zaz and Barrett. Woohoo. There you go. That being said, it's got 210 million HP. That being said, everybody brought Tifa. So she killed it and did crit damage and didn't take 100 turns. Do less than 50 turns, it's a S tier. No KOs. 1,500 or 15,000 or less HP damage. So, Mino, any other things on this fight?
Yeah, so a lot of people have a lot to say, and that's expected. This is a loaded fight.
A lot of things going on. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a loaded fight mechanics-wise. I was a huge fan. Like, are all Spirituses gonna be this fun? Because it really feels like this Spiritus fight has the most mechanics of any one fight I can remember, even more than some of the 6-mans. I think only the 6-man beta came close to this. But wow, this is a fun fight. So I'll be pulling quotes because a lot of people have a lot to say. First is credit to Serial, who said, as you said, there's a phase where you need crits, but you can't do the break, so you need either people to either guarantee those crits or have the crit buff, and then you need under 30%. It's take less than 30 turns, so you need to do a lot of damage. I guess steadily, but then the last shield race, which is do 20 million damage before it takes another turn. Then you need a burst. Like big bursts. So it's really fun to plan out. Again, this is a completely different fight without Tifa. I haven't run it without Tifa myself, but there are so many people who are worried about can Tifa carry X and Y through the Spiritus missions? And the answer is yes, because I've carried some really degenerate people through. I did Xcal stole my team of Wall and Kadaj for a bunch of quests, but basically I was like, can this team make the DPS check? Tifa can do 80% of the damage by herself.
Yeah.
If you have her maxed out.
Yeah.
I legit tested that. As long as the team can get me to 80, like I just go from with her BT effect into the FR into her BT again, and she does
That's a lot.
serious
It's a lot of
80.
damage.
Yeah, it is massacres. So there are a lot of people running this without Tifa, so credit to the veteran community. But like with Tifa, and I remember you put this in the outline. You want to talk about it? Did we skip over it of how biased this fight is for the featured character, right? Because she completely eliminates any challenge this fight has at all. But in fact, I think there was a Reddit post that popped up concerned with. So you're not technically correct. There are people who are worried that it is too synergy bias because there were some Reddit posts asking, "Our future Spiritus is going to be this tough because we can't pull the
this restricted." Right.
And so, the without Tifa, you have to team build so hard, and that damage 220 million. It's 20 because technically, when they get to 10%, it's a 20 million shield.
Yep.
Like that's a lot to get through for anyone not named Tifa. It's quite a lot, but this is permanent content. Reminder, permanent content. You can always come back.
Yep.
And 90% of the rewards will still be there. So I don't mind Spiritus fights being much more difficult. I love the question mark for difficulty because it really is your choice how far you want to get. I think they don't expect you to do an S unless you get the featured character. I think they don't expect you to get the S. And so, and a reminder, because Mark found this out for me, is you have to choose to cash out on this run. No gem revives and no partial credit. Like, you have to physically tap out if you want to get a rank lower than S or A.
Yeah. Or die. Yeah, you just have to die. Yeah. No, but
also,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I also like the they finally added a hardened rage into this game.
Yes.
100 turns and you die. Like, they finally did it. They finally had the balls
to
do that.
So wait, does that mean you cannot Yidorot this fight? Is that correct?
I want to say, yeah. Well, I mean, you already can't because you can't break, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, because it's floor. Because his. How does that work with Sephiroth setting the Brave to 1? Then it can't set it to 1.
I don't know, but I'm pretty sure the interaction is
Yida cannot break.
1.
Yeah, it would stay at 1, right? Yeah, Yida can't break. So yeah, there you go. You can't get rank if you KO. Yeah, you get don't no, yeah, you to get you just have to beat where's the rank here? Yeah. You just have to get like reduce the animal to 60%. That's grade D. So if you get it to under 60% of its health, the well done your reward trigger, 59%, then you get grade D if you die, right?
Is it? I thought you had to tap out. Like, you had to pause the menu and say, I'm done. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You actually
confirming. You don't get anything. You have to tap out.
You have to actually, okay. You actually have to be done.
And then to catch some of these comments, Blart saying the boss is unlikely to kill you with a regular HP attack, provided your max HP is more than the Brave floor. I saw a lot of people talking about how this boss isn't much of a threat, but I'd like to disagree because I feel like unless you're bringing mitigation, the Brave floor is higher than most HP. So like what I tried when I tried to run like a DPS team, his Brave floor is in killing range of most characters.
Like Kurosame.
100%. Yeah, and then the other thing is that a lot of people were using defensive characters, especially Core was a popular pick. You forget these are Vayne horses.
Yeah.
Do you remember why Vayne horses are dangerous? It's when they break.
Yep.
And if you have Core, you're not getting broken. But if this horse is breaking your characters and the brave hits
It's
come
bad.
really hard,
Yeah.
then
Yeah.
it will fucking murder you.
Yep.
So I disagree with this boss not being threatening.
Yeah.
I feel like people are just used to maybe bringing mitigation and debuffs,
No,
but
right, because if
fuck,
it's breaking you, it's I mean the floor is 20,500. But
yeah,
if
yeah,
it breaks you and gets consecutive turns, I mean it's a lot bigger. You know, we'll get up to 75 plus thousand real quick. Yeah.
right, which is why like its force attack is just a brave hit because it's
Yeah.
just like it's just trying to break you, regardless of trying to. Because once it breaks you, it's over. But I feel like most people are either running Core Cane or Unbreakable. I know there's a lot of Unbreakable comps out there. People
Yeah.
ran Yang for the Unbreakable,
Yep.
but
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
no, I disagree. I think this boss is plenty fucking threatening. And Excalibur's little tidbit is saying one thing about the 9% is that if you bring it to 9% just as it gets a turn, so probably through off-turn damage, that turn is safe, and you will instead instant kill you the turn after.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want it to take an action at that point. But it is nice that once you kill the shields, it's dead. So I mean, I like that little gimmick at the end. No, I thought it's a good fight. Interesting, fun. Obviously, if you have the featured character, we talk about this a lot. Makes the fight a lot easier. But if you don't have the featured character, it's a very challenging fight. Also, you can approach it a couple different ways depending on how you want to. You know, the content you can approach several different ways depending on how you want to get the rewards. And if you want to just miss the limited time Spiritus rewards, you don't have to do it. You can just do the normal grind and then come back to it at a later date when Kurosame has his BT weapon. So, or whoever else you would like to use. Anything else about this this event, Mino?
I'm just a big fan of Spiritus. Do you want to get into the
Yeah.
featured character bias
Yeah,
first?
yeah.
Let's
So
jump into
so I
that.
guess that's really the next the next question or the next discussion topic. I didn't even switch my thank you, Poto Cedar, for making these beautiful banners. Let me just put that one up there for a few minutes. It says Tifa. Here's Tifa. Yeah, so you said you did see a couple posts on Reddit or something that, hey, are all Spirituses going to be like this because we're not going to be able to pull the featured character? But this does have very strong synergy bias. Arguably, a lot of the World of Illusion fights did, or the summon grinds did. They were much easier with the featured characters, but for quite a long period of time now, it's not really mattered too much. This seems much, much more synergy biased, where if you don't have Tifa, it's going to be a lot harder. Is it impossible? No. But the runs, the grind's going to be harder. The Spiritus content's going to be a lot harder. But the outcry, as opposed to any other, Dare to Defy or, any other special, Abyss or Crevasse or like any special thing we've ever gotten where, it's forced people to pull, that becomes a problem. But if this is already on your pull plans, it doesn't seem to be a problem. I think that's just the observation, right? That if everybody's pulling for something, it doesn't matter how much synergy bias there is. It's only when I'm not expecting it, when I can't plan for it, or if it's not on my radar and now I have to pull, that now it's a huge problem for me. So do you get what I'm saying there? It doesn't seem to have the huge amount of outcry when it's a character that everybody was going to pull anyway.
To play devil's advocate, I think the
Please.
reason it's being forgiven is because it's permanent content.
Do you really? I mean, like, is there people that are like, oh yeah, I'll just come back? But that's like that's not in practice, right? That's just like theoretically.
I'd
Theoretically, it's permanent content, so hey, who cares?
I'd believe it because a lot of people and Quetz's argument that we used on this show was that they would not be so upset about Dare to Defy if it was permanent. And they were saying if it was lockouts, we could approach at our own pace and come back to. It feels less greedy and will encourage more polls in the long run. So I'm just saying, like, if I'm trying to analyze everything on all these comparisons, I'd say the difference is that this is permanent, so maybe people are less upset about it. That's just
Right.
the playing devil's advocate trying to think the other side. Eamon saying, "Did this happen with Odin?" Um, I don't remember. I remember the outcry of Odin the first time when Noctis got his LD was the challenge quest, because the challenge quests were not permanent; they were very temporary. So there was
Divine Odin?
Divine Odin. I don't remember what happened. Wait, yeah, that is Divine Odin,
Yeah,
right?
Divine Odin. That was
Yeah.
but that was Gabranth. I mean, people weren't saying, like, I don't think there was as much people pulling for Gabranth that time. Yeah, Odin was around D2D. That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
Odin
yep.
was there to defy. Right.
So that was the thing with Odin, though. Okay, so I think I remember the Odin. So you could do the Shinryu fight in Odin with a friend. It only became an issue when you didn't get a friend unit, right? Wasn't that the issue? Like when you did it in D2D without a friend, it became much, much more difficult than bringing your
Well,
Camblin,
also,
whatever.
yeah, also most people brought out the big guns for Odin, which locked them out the rest of the month because they needed to, because most people were clearing the normal Shinryu with, cam cheese, for sure.
Yeah, right. Right. Yeah.
In saying this is 210 million, that's a big ass jump, but I don't know if you should look backwards. If you look forward, we're getting a lot of characters are going to start hitting that
Yeah.
real soon. Like we just said, Renault is right around the corner. And then
Yeah.
from there on, it just gets crazier and crazier.
Yeah, Excalibur saying Odin and the Dimensions and Entropy, or Dimensions and Transcendence, tier 5. Yeah, having to do those both and only being able to cam Titus one of them, that was part of the issue there. Tree Void, I'm not remembering Lightning BT debut, so if you want to share what you're thinking there, that might be helpful.
That's the famous fight I bring up all the time.
Oh, there you
go. Where we talk about this on TCC all the time of being insanely biased. Like Lightning, without Lightning, there were barely any clears because it was a Lufania orb of a certain thing. No, actually, I can't even remember. I just remember Lightning was extremely needed, and with the call to arms, that was the least character diversity we ever saw in a fight. But everyone was pulling Lightning.
Everybody pulled it, so right, it didn't matter.
Noticed.
Yeah,
right. But again, I don't remember if that was permanent or if there was a temporary component to that event.
Yeah. Well, like I said, the good news is this is permanent content. You're not missing out a lot if you can't do it. That being said, you probably pulled Tifa. And if you are a brand new player, if you started today, you can pull Tifa. Actually, these, we don't talk about this very much, but if you are going to start the game, if you're new to Defo, these are pretty good banners. Like, this unfortunately got to pull on the Bart's one. But yeah, you can pick up Selfie, you can pick up Tifa, 8's not a bad option. I think Core is still around, right? Yeah, Core is still around. Man, you could get Core, Tifa, Selfie, starting day one player. Whew. It's a good lineup. And Yuna, 15 CP weapon for Esna. But yeah, there you go. So hey,
I'm a big fan of Spiritus.
Yeah, that was fun.
Honestly, I think the difficulty, the variety of options they give you to tackle it, the fact that it's permanent, the fact that the featured character will get you that S, but otherwise it's a huge ass mountain to climb. Like I feel like I'm super impressed by the first one. I hope this is not like 6-Man where only the first one was super good and then it falls off. Though, like we said, we hear 6-Man gets better, but now I have really high hopes for Spiritus events.
Yeah, the next one would be Pandemonium with Sid Reigns.
And that's supposed to be incredibly biased in his favor as well.
As you would expect. But Sid Reigns comes back with his BT and FR, so everybody's going to be going crazy for that again and probably pull that. So you won't necessarily notice because everybody will have it. Now, if it was Minwoo, then we'd know. Or Lude. If Lude was the feature character that you needed to pull, then let me tell you, it'd be a whole different story. All right. Well, awesome. Yeah, no, a good event, and always fun to have something a little different. I think it has to be said that today, actually, already, I think it's done. Today was the last day. As we're recording this right now, the end of service for Final Fantasy Record Keeper has hit. So we take a moment of silence. Obviously, the Crystal Chronicles podcast started in its very first season as a Final Fantasy Record Keeper podcast that I believe we did 59 episodes for until Pierre and myself started as FFRK players. That's what started the podcast 7 or so years ago when we began. So just a moment of reflection for FFRK. Now, Mino, you never really got into FFRK, correct?
Right. I played it sporadically for sure.
Yeah. A good game. I won't get into most of it, but because you can't go play it anymore. But it was a good game. It was fairly free to play friendly in the early eras. I don't know about more recently, but it had a very good run. How many years? 7 years?
7.
Yeah. 7 or 8.
It's I think it's 2 years older than Defo. How old is Defo JP right now? We're 5?
5?
So yeah, 7. So
yeah, so I think 7, yeah. Yeah. So thank you for the great game. DNA and FFRK Squex for that good game.
All is not lost. They celebrated their closure. Defo celebrated their closure by bringing over an FFRK character to Defo.
Yes, so Defo did celebrate the end of service of FFRK by bringing Rex into Defo. So we're very excited. You're talking about Rex, right?
Oh yes, of course.
One of the Rex, one of the FFRK had several exclusive characters. Tyro, Sid, the Professor Sid, the Dr. Mog, obviously was in there. There was also Girl Tyro, whose name I forget. A couple other characters that are exclusive to FFRK, including Rex. So glad Rex is coming to here in a year or so. So a lot of fun. Hey, got a supporter corner question. If you are sub to us on Twitch or if you are a YouTube member, you can sync your YouTube or Twitch to Discord, and we will allow you to have access to some private channels, including our podcast supporter corner question of the week or month or 2 weeks, whenever we do podcasts. And question number 30, we've been doing this for 30 episodes, is which characters FRBT would you like Mark to make Mark pull for over the next 2 months? Good question. So JD Terraforce says Tifa. I already did that, so thank you. Cedar says Renoa. Also going to pull for her. Don't have to make me do that. Mouse says Seymour. He can make it a sub goal. Photo Cedar reminded him that as a member of the live stream, you don't get to answer. So then Eamon.
Wait, Mouse is a member of live stream?
Apparently, according to Poto Cedar. So he is the expert at things. Then Eamon says Seymour. He can make it a sub goal. So thank you for that information. Eamon. So Seymour's not for a couple months. Seymour's not till December. So that's a little far. Van FR. Now that's Van FR is like in 6 months. When the hell is Van FR? That's not even on my.
Months. No way. 6
Well,
months.
it's after Jack Garland, so it's a few months away. He said in the next 2. Oh no, it's not. It's not. I apologize. I already have Van BT. So Van is next month. Good job. So Van is next month after Minwoo. I do hate Van. That is,
I thought you were one of the few Vaughn fans.
No, I like Vaughn in this game. I hate Vaughn as a character. In Final Fantasy 12. I hate most of the Final Fantasy 12 cast. Except for Balthier. Yeah, pretty much everyone except for Balthier. I do not like at all. I'm okay with his dog. That's fine. He's good. But other than that, everybody else. So Van is up there. Seymour is up there. GL first Palom, FRBT. I also hate both of them. So that would be a good one. Thancred Thancred's not here, is he? No. Does Thancred even have an FR?
Not yet.
Ash BT, also not here in the next couple months. That would be one that I would not want. So thank you. Minwoo. Yeah, there's a good one. Minwoo. Could care less about Minwoo. I will say this. Minwoo was in the best part of that game with Scott. So I do have a little bit of respect for Minwoo because Adventure Time with Scott is really the best part of that game. This is that was Indolent Lard. Sorry. Soraya said Ash, and Sleuth said Thancred, Ano Manor said Van, and RVK said Palom. GL first. Multiracial Line says I'd say Seymour, but he's a good character. I'd say Ash. FRBT is a good choice. Crush says Iroha BT, so Mark can show how awful it is. I like that. Stray B said all of them. Make Mark pull for all of them. That's fair game. Blind Eye says Seymour and then make him use it and say Jet is still better. Jet's good. Yeah. Is Lion okay though? Yeah, Lion is okay. Thank you. Well, thank you for all your answers. I don't know what we'll have as a sub goal. Maybe it will be Lude next month or next week. I think next week I can be here. There's going to be a couple weeks I'm going to miss here on Thursday, so we got to talk about that. But thank you all for your questions. But let us get to thank you all for your additions. Let's get to some other questions. So if you would like to ask questions, feel free to do so in chat. We would be happy to answer your questions tonight. If you want to make sure that we see them, you can always super chat, become a member, or gift a membership, and just write your question in there. Indolent Lard says, Scott when? I think that's the real question. Yeah, I'm a big Scott fan. Big Scott fan. Questions. Your questions. Martyr. Did we already ask this one?
Let me check. We did answer some of these as we went through the show, but we did not answer this. So with FFRK GL end of service today, right when the podcast starts, can Mark give us a few final thoughts on the game that started the TCC podcast? Do you feel like you've covered that enough, or do you want to add more? Yeah,
so he does. Martyr, thank you for the question. He does. He does expound upon this a little bit. Yeah. What aspects of OO do you think are superior or inferior? If you were the OO devs, what aspects of RK would you like to be record keeper? Would you like to be brought over to OO? So, for me, record keeper was a lot of fun as a gacha because it was fairly simple. You had 4 team members, just like the classic side-scrolling Final Fantasies. Each one could equip similar but different abilities. So it basically got to a point where you would invest in, buy, and upgrade abilities. So just like in Final Fantasy, you could get, Fira or Thunder or Heal. And those could be equipped to several different characters. So not every character had unique. So it started as a kind of very simple. And then the gacha was actually weapons. So just like in Opera Omnia. All the characters were free. The gotcha was the weapons. The problem was, just kind of like with OO, it got a little crazy by the end. So it wasn't just now that, so we have 1535 EX, LD, FR, BT, 6 weapons. These characters had dozens of weapons, and armor was also gotcha. And each weapon gave a unique soul break, and you could only use a couple of those fight, depending on how you played. And so it got clogged really fast, but it was a very generous game. The gotcha, they eventually did the guarantee and stuff like that. So it did a lot of the same things right. It got really, really grindy at one point, and that's kind of when I stepped away from it, because you had to kind of grind, just like in MMOs and stuff. You had to grind for certain materials to upgrade certain parts of the game. And it was kind of RNG based, and so you could grind these very, very hard fights over and over and over again and have a very small chance. So, very much like, Mino knows about this with raiding, right? Like, you do the same fight, difficult fight over and over and over again to try to get a specific drop. And that's kind of how it happened. And so that became very uncool for me. I think that did get a little bit better. But a lot of the things that we like in FFRK and FFOO are similar things. So generous, the characters are free. The gotcha is the weapons, generosity and resources, the ability to fairly easily upgrade characters fully. So you don't have to get multiple copies of the characters. You don't have to get, like a lot of other games, you have to get 7 or 8 different types of, pull. You have to pull the thing several different times and end up having materials to upgrade it or limit break it. Both of the games are very similar in that. The gameplay was pretty fun and pretty fast, pretty dynamic. So, very similar to FFRK in that way. So, I can't really think of anything specifically from FFRK that, a lot of things are similar. We have, they have burst effects that change the character's abilities. We have a lot of characters that have weapons that change their abilities. There's the chain abilities, the big overflow abilities. We have the burst abilities. There's the chain abilities that are kind of like the FR gauges. So really, if you really break it down, there's a lot of similarities to the gameplay. It's just a little bit different in how they executed it, but a lot of good stuff. Any thoughts on that?
Well, my favorite part of FFRK is already coming to DeFo in the form of Rex.
Yeah,
so
Rex.
That's a very easy answer.
Yeah.
Martyr knows me pretty well. I do like that endgame lockout stuff. They had some crazy towers at the end there with the, I believe the more modern Magicite runs and Labyrinths had you run the same fight with different teams. Yep. So I was a big fan of that. I would love to have that over. I would also like the realm synergies where you were really divided up by FF games, right? Yeah. So, and like I mentioned many times before on the podcast, like I'm a big fan that you can't just have one ice mage. You need like an ice mage from several games and a buffer and a healer from several games, different categories and stuff like that. I kind of liked how they did their lockouts. It's a little more hardcore for sure. As Mark said, whenever I tried to get back into it, you just needed so many pieces of gear for each character, and I don't know when they got their guarantee, but it was very late.
It was late in the game.
It was late in the game.
Lifespan, but sure. And the other thing is the old, it's the same way with our, like the 15s and the 35s are not nearly as important. It's the same way with FFRK. You didn't have to get the old weapons to build upon the new weapons. A lot of the older soul breaks became just non-usable at that point. But it was designed so it wasn't a unique story. It's a unique story kind of, but you kind of played a protagonist who you actually could play in the game, and he went into different Final Fantasy, and so you replayed those games. And so that was a big part of FFRK, was reliving the actual games, where this is its own world where the characters from those games interact. FFRK was literally you jumping into Final Fantasy VII and living through that game again, which was fun because you fought the bosses. Again, you had the good music, you had the familiar bosses, and you did have a lot more kind of lockout material stuff. So you also had timed battles in FFRK. So
I was not
that
a
is
fan.
that is not something we have.
That was the biggest turnoff for
me too. Yeah,
because that there was such a meta revolving around who had long animations and like the way I know that the game eventually catered to it because I had friends who played FFRK to the end here, and it was a lot of pausing between turns.
Yep.
A lot of pausing between turns to make your decision, and I hate ATB. I think ATB is a shit system, and I'll forever curse Squex for preferring ATB over pure turn-based. I feel like turn-based is such a better system, and for some reason, Squex from the early days has been obsessed with a more action-based, turn-based combat for some fucking reason. I don't understand why. ATB is such a stupid invention, I think. I feel like that's why FF10 does so well, because they actually embrace the turn-based there. But if you play these old games, and especially why FF9 aged so horribly, is because the ATB means nothing. The animations in FF9 are so long that if you play on the default mode of active, which is all bars are charging at all times, everyone just unleashes all their attacks at once, and then you wait 10 seconds, and then everyone does it again. The animation is so long, everyone queues up. It's such a shitty system. And before people say, then play on wait, what's the point of ATB? And the game defaults on active when you turn it on. So, I don't know. It's a piece of shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Similarly... these are all kind of on the same. So, I think this is multiracial. Is asking, so Mino, if you've been watching how the game has been doing financially, how have things changed from where we were a year ago? And this kind of goes into what JD Terraforce is asking in the next question.
Okay, let me actually check really quick. Okay, so to summarize, the game is doing financially worse every year. That's not a problem. That's how these things usually go. Honestly, any games as a service, the longer they're alive, the less profitable they tend to become.
Well, that's almost true of anything, right? That's why Netflix doesn't renew series. Things don't do better the second season, right? There's diminishing returns. That's why Netflix has made a lot of money. Now they're struggling a little bit, but they've made they have more competition. You have one season of something and then you don't renew it because, the returns are diminishing.
Right. And so obviously you're going to stagnate somewhere based on the numbers. It looks like so what I've been seeing, Multi, is that in GL and JP are kind of a different story because they're at different points in the game, right? Yeah. And so GL and JP, both of them, surprise, garbage time was low earnings time. So whenever people fucking praise garbage time, they're out of their fucking minds because that was not good for the game or the players. As soon as we hit Shinryu, the GL numbers got better.
Yep.
100%. Of course, Shinryu new weapon tier as well. But the point is, if garbage time was such a success, it would not have dropped to lows. In JP, also, it's just anytime there's a shift, things start. JP was looking really bad for a while until they shifted to their 4 events. And I'm guessing this is because it's double the BTs available now, right? And
basically one new BT every week.
Yeah, BTs are way more fun of a weapon to pull for than FRs. I want to pull more because the BTs are so much more impactful.
Yeah.
The effects are really fun looking at the new characters. Core's trailer just dropped in JP. His BT puts his buff on both his party members. That's real fun. Like, as much as I want to praise FRs, I have to agree that FRs are probably not a big change to kits. I can understand why they were unpopular. So them shifting back to more BT focuses on pulls have definitely helped their numbers. It's on the fall again, but post this change, they've been doing financially better in JP. So, always food for thought. It seems like the radical changes in JP and GL have lengthened the lifespan of these games a little longer.
Yeah.
And then the next one was for you, right?
No, it says for both of us. Do you think we will see any more GL exclusive content within the next 6 months or so, like Boss Rush, Abyss, or similar? I think we're going to see a Crevasse event. I really feel strongly about that. Yeah, I mean, I think we almost have to. Is it every month? No, but I mean, I think this every other month, every 3 months, like, you almost have to, if they want to keep the GL game side of the game alive, throw something at us. Throw something in the works. Throw something that is going to make people pull, make people spend. Obviously, just talking about the financial numbers. Obviously, as much as the costumes, I'm sure, bring in, the Mog Pass probably brings in a lot. It still is a gotcha, and so making people pull actually generates money. It's hard for me to believe that, since I've never spent money to pull for anything. But obviously it works. Like, obviously that is how they can increase their, like, I think their floor, the Mog Pass and the costumes, that kind of steady stream income, that's kind of the floor. But the spikes, they come when people need to pull and pay to pull. Yeah. But so I think we're gonna see GL exclusive, GL first events. I'm sure we're gonna see GL first FRs. It might be a little harder, or maybe another GL first BT like Garnet here in the future. So
I also expect a GL first / exclusive every other month at minimum as well at this rate. That's the pace they've kind of been keeping up for the last year.
yeah.
And a long time ago, in about like year 2, I remember on the stream, and any veteran remembers, year 1, they tried to catch up to JP hard.
Yes.
We were going fast. We were doing 6 to 8 events a month.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Like, it was going fast. When the game started, we were, I think, over a year and a half behind JP.
Yeah.
And we caught up to 9 months, or less than 9 months behind JP. Like, they were trying to bridge the gap. And they even said early on in their streams they were going to try to bridge the gap. And then, a little past the first anniversary, a little like later into year 2, I remember Josh saying on stream that, or it was either Josh or the the Q&A we have with the director, or producer Q&A. They said that they were going to give up trying to physically catch up to JP and just bridge the gap with GL first and exclusives. And that's why I expect a steady stream of them since, and they've really been keeping to that. So I 100% expect multiple things in the next 6 months, Lion.
Yeah. JD Terraforce asks, speaking of FFRK, I know we discussed it last week, but what can DissidiaFFOO do to last as long as FFRK, 7+ years? More Abyss, more Dare to Defy, or is the nature of the game today not conducive to last as long? Yeah, I mean, I think obviously the more fresh you keep it, the more incentivizing you keep it, the more relevant you keep it, the longer it's going to last. Obviously, if you have a content fan base and a content spending base that is going to support the game will continue on. People do become loyal to these things and stick with them. As long as the game is fun and engaging and doesn't push, you kind of have to have that balance between, and we've talked a lot about this in kind of the kind of gotcha ideology. If you have a game that forces people to pull, pay to win, that, generally speaking, those games do not last super long because you'll have a huge influx of money and then burn out. Now that's not always the case. You have games like Genshin which have survived that because they're not really play to win, but the gacha's really bad in that game. That being said, you can play without engaging in it too much, so they've found that rhythm there. And so if you can have a game that makes you want to spend and want you to support it, at the same time not making you feel like you have to spend to keep up, to compete, that kind of thing. I think that's kind of the sweet spot to keep the longevity of the game alive. And I think Defo does that well. Sometimes I think it's probably a little too generous and that can hurt it in that sense. It would be good if you were just kind of okay. If you had to pick and choose and felt okay about that, we'd probably do a little bit. But I do think not having anything new, not having any stuff, no GL first, no GL exclusives. I think that, like Mino said, that extended garbage time, whatever era it is, that will make the lifetime of the game less. So as long as they keep some of that fresh, I think you're off to a good start. If there is a new successful Final Fantasy game that comes out, I think that takes away potential audience. So if Ever Crisis comes out and everybody loves it and it's awesome, it could see the end of this game for sure. But it's not necessarily a bad thing. If Ever Crisis comes up and it blows, then you actually may see some more longevity of this game. As people are like, oh, I love Final Fantasy, I want to play. Oh, hey, there's this Final Fantasy game. They just have to do a little bit better with their advertising, because I just saw an ad for this on one of the other games I play, and it was literally Autumn Festival. That was just a slide. It said Autumn Festival, free polls, with a picture of Mog and pumpkins. So I don't know how that would entice me to play this game if I didn't know what it was. Mina, what are your thoughts?
I thought are we on the same question? Did I miss this? I thought I answered this right before you.
Maybe.
What was the question?
I deleted it. How can this game last?
Oh, sorry, I'm lost. I thought that was I feel like if they keep making events like Spiritus and Dare to Defy, where it's minimum effort with lots of replayability and ways to approach it, the 4 events a month will last a few more years.
Yeah.
I think. I kind of see what Mark's saying, that if Ever Crisis is a hit, this might hurt our chances, but I also feel like Defo's the only turn-based game on the market right now, and that's huge points for it, because most of us are boomers playing this game, and we don't have the reflexes to play FFRK or Ever Crisis when it comes out. So we'll see. Like if people don't want to sit down for like 20-minute fights now, quote unquote 20-minute fights, are they going to want to actively press buttons for 10 to 15 minutes? I doubt it. Like, I'm pretty sure there's very little overlap with people who play this game and more reflex action oriented based games.
Yeah. Yeah, you still have Brave Exvius and more of the Visions still out there.
Or the Visions isn't turn-based. That's grid style. Fuck grid style. That's why
strategy.
Nobody likes grid style. That's why there's no FF Tactics characters in Defo.
100%. Yeah, and neither of them have their... does Agrius or Ramza have their FR yet?
Nope.
No.
FF14 and Tactics really are getting delayed on. And also, I hate tactics systems with the grid system with such a passion. You guys, it's so slow-paced. Let's be real. And then you have to click to move, and then click to confirm, and then click to end your turn, and then decide which direction you're facing, and then confirm that. Don't even fucking get me started.
Wait, are there no Final Fantasy 14 FRs in JP?
No 14s, no tactics. There's rumors abound for it with some basis that those usually like to get signed off on by the teams. and it's looking to be true because they're literally last on the burner here. They were the last to get their LDs. Well, at least
the
FF14
tactics team is still around. Like, oh, we gotta it's some guy in a basement somewhere. Like,
so we did a little investigating on this because BC and some of the others, we always love to say, oh, when you make a ridiculous claim, where's your proof? So there was this time on we found somebody that was claiming that about the tactics characters, and we said, where's your proof? And then he linked an FFRK stream. They do their version of Ope Ope. And so I did some digging, and I actually watched it and translated it, and there was some truth to it. It's not a lot of correlation, but the story is that the creator of the Tactics Evilly series, what's his name again? Let me check. I know a lot of Squex weebs know the name. Oh, nope. Oh, Matsuno. Yasumi Matsuno. He does all the Evilise games. Like, Evilise is his world. He was one of the OG people at Squex, and so what the FFRK devs said, because the FFRK devs were asked, where are the Tactics weapons? Because they get such few updates. And so in their live stream, they said, because Matsuno was an OG at Squex, he has a lot of friends with the current higher-ups in Squex. Like, a lot of the big wigs and the presidents at Squex, they're real tight. So out of respect to him, even though Squex owns the property...
they have to ask him permission?
It's more of a courtesy thing, right? So, like, even though Squex owns the property, out of respect to him, they usually ask him to sign off on things. And this is true of everything. This is true of all of their gotcha crossovers with Tactics. This is true of FF14, because he was personally asked to write and oversee the Evilise raid events, etc. Like, so out of respect to him, the higher-ups always ask him to sign off on things. Oh. And then they said that the FFRK team submitted their designs for their the new FF Tactics Soul Breaks to him like over a year ago, and he keeps apologizing for missing the deadlines, and they're like, well, what can you do? He's a busy guy, and he keeps setting his own deadlines but not getting back to them, and they're like, it's been like a year and a half now. And so they're like, we want FF Tactics weapons just as much as you guys, but it's out of our hands, and we're just waiting for him to sign off on it. Now, with this anecdote, BC and others have correctly said, well, so we know this is the definitive case for FFRK. We can't say for sure this is the same case for DissidiaFFOO, but the evidence kind of lines up. Like, it takes forever for the FF Tactics to get tuning passes, and same with the FF14.
So FF14 team, same thing.
Yeah, because Yoshi P is also a hero in Squex. So they kind of like him to sign off on things too. And he's super busy with FF14 and FF16. So like the thing is that out of courtesy,
they got to send Squex Joshua has to go down there and like fly to Japan and present, get his kimono on.
Lost in the time zones. The reason it's taking so long is the time zones.
Yeah, time zones, definitely. It's the time zones. Time zones. Right. Time, you got to, with the Zoom calls, man, it's tough. So there you go. You heard it here on the Crystal Chronicles, why there are no Tactics and Final Fantasy 14 updates, because the time zones. That's it. Well, hey, it's already been 2 hours. Can you believe it? That has been episode 208 of the Crystal Chronicles, your Dissidia Final Fantasy Opera Omnia podcast, recorded on September 29, 2029. If you are in the Southeast United States, hopefully you are safe. Let us know. Jump on Discord. Tell us you're okay. Hopefully everybody is doing well and everything is safe where you are, regardless of where you are. If you are in other places in the world going through natural or human-caused disasters, you are in our thoughts as well. Let us know that you're okay, and we'll hope to see you next time, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube or your favorite podcast channel. This has been Mark and Mino, and hey, good luck on all your Tifa pulls, and we'll see you all next time. Goodbye. All right.
Fun tidbit I forgot to include in the podcast as well is that they sought his blessing and assistance to create lore for Male Vieira to include into FF14. That's why they came so late.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so like just that, like 14 in tactics, things move a little slower when it comes to those.
There
characters.
you go.
100%.
Yeah. 2029. It's the year 2029. The 29th of September. I don't know what day is. Who cares? Who cares? What day it is? What year it is? It's only the internet.
Mark, I apologize, but could we skip the post show today? I'm just a little under the weather.
Yes. Thank you for hanging out, even not feeling so good.